your union has the ability, the law actually states that you have to give certain, you can't discriminate on race, age, gender, but there's no constitutional right unless, there's no constitutional right for anything but those protected classes. When you start talking about ADA, disability, sexual orientation, gender preference, whatever, that is in your contract with the employer. So how does it affect somebody that's ADA? If you want to get to work, that union has negotiated, if you need some help, but you can do your job, that they have to provide access to that. That goes away if you don't have a contract with your union and your employer. Remember what I said. They're only affecting one small piece of the contract, but by doing that, they pretty much eliminate the ability of the union to negotiate with the employer. If you have a whole bunch of employees who know they can get a free ride, pay the union for negotiating what? So that's how it effectively, you know, your pensions. I mean, there's so many things that it affects, but it only affects right now one part of the contract. But effectively, it just makes sure the union not, you can't negotiate if you don't have any members.
Yes, my name is Pierre Pullins, and I'm a citizen, and I work at Amazon.com out in Plainfield. Indiana not being a right-to-work state, I got a question for Senator Taylor. Indiana not being a right-to-work state didn't stop Amazon from locating 4 plants here. So, and just to say, we need a union out there. And those young folks, even if we had a union, if they were allowed not to pay, there would be no way a union could represent all of those people and do it effectively. So my question to you is, it seems like it's a state law that's infringing upon the union's right or responsibility to carry out their responsibilities under a federal law.
Right.
What court case?
Beck versus, it's CWA versus Beck. If you want to look at it, read the case, it's CWA versus Beck. There's a whole litany of other cases from 1986 all the way to 2009 that the National Labor Relations Board has reviewed. Remember, the Taft-Hartley Act created the National Labor Relations Board as a result of worker exploitation. Out of that comes the rules and regulations that govern union representation of employees. So that's the case. It's Beck versus CWA or CWA versus Beck. However you Google it, you'll be able to look at the case. It is a very interesting case study if you want to look at it. But yeah, it's clear that the law. Yes. Okay.
Let me say this, Letitia, my able-bodied legislative assistant, had everyone to sign in. Did everyone sign in?
Yes, sir.
She will get you her information. She's got business cards if you want to get one of those, but she will get you her information. And if you need some more information, Representative Crawford has some information that you may want, but you can get with her. So it's 7:35.
Can I say, I want to also thank all of you so very much for coming here tonight and for standing up for working Hoosiers. And if any of you are interested in volunteering at our phone bank or, you know, what we're involved in, please take my number down or get with me after this and I'll get your number, and we gladly take any help we can get, right? Any help is good help. So we have plenty to do. Thank you.
I just also would like to tell people, I just started a Twitter account, so if you follow me on Twitter, Cherish Pryor, I do try to provide updates to people as to things that are happening and make announcements about things that are going on at the legislature. So if you have a Twitter account, sign up so that you can be informed about what we're doing as well.
And what's your Twitter?
Cherish Pryor. CherrisPryor.
Thank you.
Representative Boyd.
But somebody mentioned earlier that the TV commercial the governor's got. If you have folks who, ask you about that, ask them who's paying for that commercial. I mean, put some sunlight on the fact that he's not willing to admit that money's coming from billionaires and multinational corporations. And the things he's saying in that commercial are bull. And we need to stand up and say, you can't believe everything you see on TV, especially when the guy saying it won't tell you who's paying for it.
Or who he is.
Or who he is.
The last thing Representative Crawford reminded me of this, we also have an initiative called the 2012 Year of the Child, and what we're doing is focusing on issues that affect our kids and trying to resolve those issues. It's an initiative. I was on the radio on Saturday, and someone said it's actually a movement, and so I agree with that. So we're going to take this entire year to focus on issues that affect our kids and try to solve those problems. We're not starting a new organization. We're not trying to raise money for any organization, but we're wanting to focus on our kids in a non-partisan fashion. Our next meeting is going to be January 20th at the Children's Bureau, and that is on Dr. Martin Luther King Street. I don't know the address. At 3 o'clock, and everyone is invited.
16th and Dr. King.
16th and Dr. King, and everyone is invited to attend.
And the right to work certainly affects our children.
Absolutely.
Sir.
I just had a comment about the big lie that's being put on TV. Now they're talking, as you said, Representative, that the buzz is that this is going to create more jobs. Well, let me say this, if all these companies, these gunny sack outfits are wanting is free land and minimum wage jobs, we don't want them here anyway. Exactly. One other comment I'd like to make, if you look at that little map there, had it not been for the damnable, horrific war between the states, half of these right-to-work states would still have legal slavery.
That's right.
And I've heard all I want to hear about Texas because the last damn good thing we got from Texas was the Lone Ranger.
We started with prayer. We're going to have our day dismissed with prayer.